Great gowns, beautiful gowns.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. This is Brownsugar Commentary, and I'm your girl, Kayla. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe for more videos. All right, let's get right in to it. So, yesterday, which was Friday, was the premiere of the highly anticipated Malcom Marie, starring Emmy Award winner Zendaya and Mr. John David Washington. If you don't know John David Washington, his biggest movie, I believe, is Black Klansman, directed by Spike Lee. He is also the son of the legendary Denzel Washington. Okay, so this movie, I have so many thoughts. So many thoughts. But before we get to those thoughts, okay, let's talk about Malcolm and Marie as a whole and the whole kind of controversy this movie has started, which is partly why it was so anticipated. Well, I remember back at the, in the summertime, I believe it was, Zendaya posted a picture of her and John David Washington pictured together rather intimately. And so most believed, okay, this must be a film or a short film. We weren't quite sure what it was. It just had the caption. I think it was just Malcolm and Marie. And we were like, okay, what's going on here? And then it was later revealed that they're going to do a movie, I think for Netflix, with Sam Levington, who is the director and writer, or I think he's the creator also of the HBO show Euphoria, which Zendaya currently stars in. Okay, then time went on, we kind of forgot about it, at least I did. And then it was about a couple of weeks ago where we started to see the first trailer for the film. And so a lot of people had a lot to say because Zendaya and John David Washington have a 12-year age gap. He is 36, she is 24. And I definitely was a part of the people who kind of was like, about this, simply because Zendaya is not because of her age. Well, look, I'm 24 too, okay? And I could never see myself dating a 36-year-old, even though I do like I'm a little bit old. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But I'm also not Zendaya. We're not in the same place in life. So it would, like the power dynamics with her dating a 36-year-old and well, at the end of the day, personally, a 36-year-old is is closer to 40 than they are 30. A 24-year-old is closer to 20 than they are 30. And I mean, 24, you're kind of just getting your life started. 36, you're pretty established. I mean, there is no real timeline in life, but most 36-year-olds got somewhat of their life together, right? Where 24, not quite. Like I said, Zendaya is an Emmy Award winning actress. She has been acting since forever, but even with her career really as a serious actress beyond Disney is just getting started. And while John David Washington is also technically just getting started in terms of his career, it's just a bit weird. I'm not knocking it. It's not illegal, but it's weird. It's just like how Jay-Z and Beyonce started dating when he was in his 30s and she was 22. It's weird. I don't understand when people try to justify something being weird by saying when Hollywood did it before and got away with it, like Margot Robbie being I think 21 or 22 in Wolf of Wall Street, and what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio being well in his 40s or 30s, probably 40s, right? By the time Wolf of Wall Street was made, who knows? He was grown, okay? Still weird. I don't understand why people kept using that as a talking point. That's still weird. No one should be doing that. It's weird. Get people around their age. They exist. That's just my personal opinion. Whatever. Argue with the wall. That's just what I think. So that already caused a stir. And watching the film now, I understand the age difference. It plays into the power dynamics of their relationship. It makes sense. That's all they had to say. Period. Because I remember somebody interviewed John David Washington about the stir around the age difference, and all he said was, she's grown. That's looks not good on your part. Y'all need to get PR people, please, because y'all do not be interviewing well. Y'all be saying dumb stuff and then y'all just look bad, because I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it, but that doesn't sound right. You sound like somebody creepy uncle that be trying to try to get at your friends when they turn 18. Oh, she's 18, she's grown. Not really. 18 is not grown. I don't care. It's legal, but it's still weird. So I was part of those people, but I was going to give it a fair shot because, like I said, they said that they were going to address the age difference in the movie, and they kind of did, so I guess. So that was strike number one. Strike number two was the trailer. When I saw the trailer, I seen that, okay, the movie's going to be in black and white. Interesting. That's different. And then I seen that they were, because they were not going to be, they're going to be in one setting. And usually films that do this are usually like film adaptations of plays, like recent films such as One Night in Miami and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Both of these films kind of take place within one setting. They don't really move much. Well, One Night in Miami, they kind of, the bulk of the movie is in one setting, I should say, because in both of these movies, they do go outside or they go like to another location for a scene or two. But for the bulk of the movie, it's in the same building. You can also think about the movie American Son that came out on Netflix, which is a film adaptation of a Broadway play with Kerry Washington, and it takes place literally in a police station the whole time. And I think when these movies are done well, they're done well. When they're not, they're not. Simply put, this movie is not based on a film. It was literally made during quarantine, and it is based off of well, one, I'm pretty sure that Zendaya had a couple of input into the writing, but it's mostly Sam Levington, and he said that he kind of based it off of an argument that he had with his wife. Something similar that happens in the movie happens to him. Obviously, there are some nuances there because these two characters are of color. Okay, they're black. Zendaya is biracial. But yeah, no. So, and that's kind of talked about. This character's blackness is brought up quite a bit in the film. So it's not like he's a character that just so happens to be black. He is black, okay? So there you go. But whatever. So I saw that this movie was going to be one of those movies where it's going to be in one place. It's going to be a lot of heavy dialogue, a lot of back and forth. Cool. I'm not mad at that. I mean, I wasn't blown away by the trailer because it just felt like dense dialogue, long monologues, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot though, because you know, Zendaya. And that's really what I want to preface this whole conversation by saying is this. All right, I like Zendaya. I think Zendaya is a great actress. I like her transition from Disney to now. She's been choosing really good roles. I see her growing as an actress. I can't wait to see, you know, when she really gets that role of a lifetime, like a movie role of a lifetime, where she really just gives it all to us, when she's like, especially when she get like into a grown woman thing, like, you know what I mean, like into like her like when she's like in her 30s or 40s, like I'm like, yo, I remember when she was on Shake It Up, fam. Like, wow, the glow up is real, you know what I mean? But you know, I think she's great. I think on Euphoria she does a great job. That Emmy was very well deserved. So I'm here for her 100%. I also think John David Washington is pretty dope. I haven't watched BlacKkKlansman, but from what the reviews were, I'm pretty sure he did a great job. I haven't really seen him in anything else. That new Tenet movie I didn't watch, but I'm assuming your daddy is Denzel Washington. You at the very least got to be somewhat decent, okay? So I'm not gonna really dig into their acting too much because I do believe that there's a holy trinity when it comes to a good movie, okay? We have the writing, the direction, and the acting. If one of those things are bad, the movie is bad, usually. Or multiple things are bad, okay? Like I told y'all in my Tyler Perry conversation, most of the time Tyler Perry chooses amazing actors and actresses to be in his films. However, the script and the direction is usually bad, which makes the movies bad, okay? That's just what it is. So sorry about it. He's never bad at like choosing the talent. It's usually the movie, and you're only as good as the script that you're given. You can be the best of the best, but if the story is not being conveyed properly, it's just not going to be good. Neither here nor there. So this is not a dig to them. I know both of them have executive production credits, and like I said, I know that Zendaya played a part in the writing a little bit. That's cool. I'm not really faulting her. She's she's new to the writing thing and the directing thing, and it really just falls on Sam Levington more than anything else. So that's that. So as Zendaya stands, you can back down. I'm not bashing her. I think that out of both of them, she gave the better performance. Personally, especially that knife scene, child, but you know, but yeah, so what is Malcom Marie is about? At the base level, Malcom and Marie is about this couple, and it is Malcolm is a filmmaker, and he recently made a film, and he had a premiere for said film, and they are coming home from the premiere, and Marie is upset because she did not get thanked during this film premiere. And what transpires in this hour-and-a-half long film is an argument and breakdown between these two. It unmasks all the deeper complexities, toxicity, and issues between them that has been boiling over since day one. Cool. Okay, so that's the plot. There is no plot. That's just the summary, because this movie doesn't have a plot. And you know what? That's okay. I'm all for a movie that doesn't have a plot, because some great movies have been made with no plot. Let's talk about Friday. Friday is a movie with literally no plot, right? It's about these two dudes hanging out on the porch on a Friday. There is no plot. Stuff happens, but there's no plot. There's no destination in mind. We're just chilling, right? It just feels like we are sitting in with these two characters, and they don't really move that much in the film. They're literally on the, obviously they go in the house a little bit, or they're sitting on the porch, or they're on the front lawn and, the corner store. But for the most part, they're in the same setting the whole movie. And that's a movie about really nothing, right? But it's a good movie. Like, for me, I think it's a great film. It's a hood classic, okay? But it holds up. It's funny. It's entertaining. You're invested. That's my point. But there's no plot when you really look at it. Also, Moonlight. Movie with no plot. And that's fine. It's literally glimpses at Chiron's life at different stages, right? When he's little, when he's a teen, and then he's an adult. And things are just happening to him. There's no destination in mind. There's no goal here. We're just here for the ride. But we're invested in Chiron, right? He's established himself enough as a character, and we are given enough background information about him that we care about the journey that he's going on, even though there really is no end goal. It's just a life, right? And there's plenty of other movies with no plot that are good. This movie has no plot, and it's not good. Spoiler alert, I don't think it's good. And I'm going to tell you why. Instead of breaking down and analyzing the film, I'm just going to tell you the reasons why I personally didn't like it. Okay? Number one, these characters are hollow. These characters do not feel real. These characters do not feel lived in. I feel like I did not learn nothing much about them throughout this film. And that's a problem, because if there's no plot, you need me to be invested in the story, right? I need to be invested into these characters. Why do I care about what's going on, right? Why do I care about this couple? Why am I invested in this couple? Why do I need to care about this argument that they're having? Like, what do I need to care about? And I don't care. I think, like I said, if I'm going to care about a character, I'm going to care about Marie, because we're given more about her than anyone else. We learned that she had a drug problem, and that's when her and Malcom got together, and he kind of got her in a very vulnerable place. And she's an aspiring actor, or actress, and she put her dreams on hold basically to support her filmmaker boyfriend. And that's kind of it. We don't really know much. We don't know her relationship with her family too much. We don't know what she's doing. Is she just sitting at home? Like, what's the situation here? Not much is really given. That's kind of what we're given, right? And then with Malcom, he's just angry. There's not much I can really say about his character. He's a filmmaker, and he's angry. Because they literally gave him nothing. And that's a problem, once again, because I think that he speaks more than she does. He's clingy. He's a narcissist. He is arrogant. He's pretentious. And I get the dynamic where, Marie kind of knocks him off his high horse. She grounds him in reality most of the time. Especially during this night where he's supposed to feel, he feeling himself. He just, got a good review. This is the first movie that he's made that got basically positive reception. I understand. But he's very angry. He's angry for 90% of this movie. He is not happy. And he goes on these very long tangents and complains, and I don't get it. It's like, I'm all for a villain. I mean, I guess they said that this movie's not supposed to have a villain. We're supposed to, see both sides. Both of them are wrong in their own ways, but nah. Because this man, especially that bathtub scene, the devil. No. And it's like, I'm all for those type of characters, because if you're going to explain why they are the way that they are, it's kind of like, let's talk about Papa Pope, okay? In Scandal. Very evil man, very angry man, but we are given reason and background into why he's angry. And he's also like the king of monologues. Like, he's always given a good long monologue. He's always good for a monologue. So once again, I'm here for monologues when they have purpose. I'm here for a mean or evil character if there is a purpose. There is no purpose with Malcom. He's angry for no reason. Like, he's more angry than Marie, and Marie has all reason to be angry. He has none. So sorry about it. There was never that much to be given about him to be that angry. Whatever. Characters, I don't feel like they were established well enough for me to be invested into their story or what the hell they're talking about. That's number one. Badly written characters. Like I said, both of them try to give their own flair and their personality and try to bring these characters to life, but they just feel hollow to me. They don't feel real. They don't feel lived in. They don't feel like anything. They just feel like, here's Zendaya and here's John David Washington playing these characters. I don't feel like they're embodying these characters, if that makes sense. Okay, number two, these two have no chemistry whatsoever. They don't got remedial chemistry. They don't got 9th grade chemistry. They don't even have 5th grade chemistry. They don't have none, okay? You're not going to convince me these two have chemistry at all. Y'all can say whatever the hell y'all want about the photograph being boring or not a good movie, but guess what? Issa Rae and Lakeith Stanfield, chemistry, okay? I can believe that these two look like a couple. They feel like they're together. They feel like they like each other at the very least. They're when they kiss, I'm invested, okay? At the very least, I can be interested in what's going on here because they look like they like each other. These two don't look like they like each other. Like when somebody said this on Twitter, and I remember I like responded to it because I was just like, yes. Like that scene in the beginning where he's like biting her ass, and I'm like, I'm over it. Like, I was immediately over it. Movie where we're supposed to show this fire and ice, hot and cold, passionate couple. Like, to me, I feel like they were trying to give off that we fight hard, but we also make love harder type of deal. Like, maybe even like a Jodie and Yvette situation. And I don't get that here. Like, at all. And I didn't even understand why they never even had a scene where they actually, like, slept together. I probably would have cringed the hell out. But at least it would have told the story better. You know what I mean? Like, if it was like that, if it was one of those scenes where they had that heightened argument and then they like started like, you see movies where that's happened, like two characters are really heated and they start arguing and then they start giving each other that eye like, oh, you look so good right now, and then they just start sleeping together. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen it. Like, it's even, like I said, going back to Baby Boy, as much as we clown Baby Boy, that was a brilliant scene. Like, where they start arguing and they were like yelling at each other, and then the next scene they start sleeping together. It makes sense. It's great. You had two very, like, they're passionate. That's the point I'm trying to give. And they kept talking about how the sex was so good, but you never had any. And I'm all for, like, not, like, having a lot of sex scenes in movies, because I hate when people have unnecessary sex scenes, especially, well, that's more so television than movies. But if they're used with a purpose, then they're used with a purpose. There are many times where these two are about to sleep together and they have these long-winded conversations. Like, who has these long-winded conversations when they're about to sleep with somebody? Like, come on. It's not realistic. Like, that's my point. Like, nothing of these two, like, I get it. You're arguing. Why would you start sleeping? But never would I ever be sitting there arguing with nobody for like 4 or 5 hours. Because that's how long this argument felt. Like, 5 hours. I was shocked that it was in the morning by the time they went to bed. Like, what the hell? That's the biggest thing for me. These characters don't feel lived in. I'm not invested in their relationship. There's no sparks here. There's no love here. I'm not feeling the love. Even when they tell each other they hate each other, I don't feel it. I don't feel like you hate each other. Do you? Or when they say they love each other, do you? I don't feel it. Sorry. Like I said, it's not really Zendaya and John David Washington's performance in that regard. I think because it was not written well, then there's not. And maybe there wasn't a chemistry test before. Like, they just said, because the way they're describing the process behind this movie was not like anybody auditioned. It was like Zendaya wanted to act in a movie, and she went to Sam Levington about it, and he said, okay, I'll write a movie. So she already, boom, bada bing, she's in there. And then they were thinking about who can be in it, and he said John David Washington. He asked John David Washington. He said, cool, boom, there's the movie. Like, that's cool and all, but y'all need a chemistry test. Like, y'all could have did a bit more with the chemistry test. That's just what I think, because they ain't have no chemistry. Like I said, Bridgerton, okay, as colorist as it is, at least Simon and old girl had chemistry. They had AP chemistry. I told y'all they had advanced chemistry. All right, these two, not even remedial. They didn't even have summer school chemistry. They didn't even have second grade chemistry, even though nobody in second grade should be having no chemistry. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You get my analogy here. Okay, next we have, what else is my problem? I think that the score, okay. My other problem I have is the scoring of this film. A lot of people are praising the soundtrack, and I get it, but I don't get a lot of these song choices. Like, a lot of the song choices, not like the songs are bad, obviously. Like, we had Dionne Warwick up in here. We had James Brown up in here. We had some Duke Ellington up in here. Sure. But it's like, they don't know what genre of music they want to commit to. It's either we're going to do jazz or we're going to do soul music. Like, I don't understand. Like, I think the infusion of jazz in, like, that first scene is brilliant. Like, the fast-paced jazz music in the background while, you know, they're like, the camera shots are really fast, and, you know, it seems like a lot of things are happening at once, and Zendaya is like boiling the mac and cheese, and like as the macaroni is coming to a boil, like it seems like tensions are rising with every second, and like it's helping moving the story along. That's what this movie's supposed to do. But as the movie goes on, they use these songs to try to convey certain emotions that the character is feeling, and then the other character immediately reacts to it. I'm like, that's just lazy to me. Like, okay, you're gonna pick that one I Forgot to Be Your Lover song. I'm not, Jaheim samples it and put that woman first. That's all I think about when I hear that song. And then, you know, like, Malcolm plays that song and Marie gets upset because she's like, oh, you're being stupid. But then she comes around and she plays a Dionne Warwick song, which is like, oh, you better leave him or something like that. And I'm like, this isn't real. Like, I mean, people do that, but it's just like, really? And then these song choices, these are like very interesting song choices for two like younger people. Like, I get the whole old soul type of deal, but it's very random to me that y'all choose these two songs. Like, really? And then like even the movie starts and he plays this James Brown song. And like I said, I am as a person who grew up with a parent who played that type of music religiously, and so I had these random urges to listen to really old music, and people are always looking at me like, why do you know this song? Like, and it's like, it's not my fault. I get it, but like, I just don't feel like people, especially like Marie's character, would be into that type of music. I don't know. Maybe she's an old soul. It just feels very odd. Like, it's just like, oh, we're just gonna pick this randomly. Because I would have picked Me, Myself, and I, like, before I would have picked this. You know what I mean? Or Irreplaceable. I don't know. Something else. Take a Bow. Like, I don't. Personally. It's just like this movie tried to be like, I feel like it had like this vintage-esque-ness about it. It might just be because the black and white thing, but like the fact that, like I said, the musical choices, with the characters, also the cigarette smoking, like, what is that about? Like, who smokes cigarettes in the year of our Lord and Savior of 2021? Like, nobody smokes cigarettes under the age of like 60. Nobody. And maybe that's just like her new vice because she doesn't do drugs anymore. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to believe. But like, no, she was chain smoking. Like, this felt like a 50s movie. We could have just said this in the 50s at this point with the amount of smoking she was doing. All right. So that was just a choice. And the black and white thing. I'm like, is this a noir film? No. Is this a flashback film? No. Is this a film set in the past? No. I mean, it's like the least annoying thing about it, but it's just a choice. It's just a very interesting choice. It's like, I get it for like film aesthetics, but like personally it got annoying because I'm like, why are we in black and white? I need to see color. Like, personally, because it's just like, I feel like with film, what's so brilliant about films is that everything has a purpose in a film, right? Like, the color that a character wears usually symbolizes something, whether it's their feelings, it could symbolize something that they may be hiding. Like, it can tell a lot, okay? Same thing with the lighting, the camera angle of a character, you know, if they're zoomed in, if they're zoomed out. Like, there's so much that can be told, and it's kind of missing because there's no color. And that worked for movies in the 60s and 50s when there was no color. But like now it's like, why are we doing that? that's just personally, it was annoying to me. I'm just like, that was just, it just makes it, I feel like it was trying to be like vintage or something, and it just didn't work, because I was just like, why the hell is this in black and white? What are we doing? But like I said, that's just me being nitpicky, I guess. And this, the dialogue, it don't feel real. Like, don't nobody talk like this in real life. Like, these long-winded speeches. Like, even like John David Washington got out of breath because he was talking so damn much. Like, what is this? And then the words he was using, like, I'm all for, like, as a person who, you know, sometimes uses big words, not all the time, but like sometimes, I don't use that junk in real life. Like when I'm talking to my friends or something, like, why are you using these big words? Are we at a seminar? Like, what's good here? These long, big words, these long, drawn out monologues. I'm just like, monologues need to serve a purpose. I need a purpose. Like in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, where Chadwick Boseman's character Levy goes on that monologue about his mother being assaulted by these white men, and that's why he has this relationship dynamic with white men. It makes sense because they were mocking him about, you know, kissing up to the white man, and he explains why he's doing that or why he has this, whatever. You know, it makes sense. Like I said, Papa Pope has many monologues, but most of them serve a purpose. In the later season, I will admit, a lot of them were just extra and kind of just there for no damn reason. But in the beginning, you know, like the twice as hard to get half as much, that's iconic, right? But I'm just saying, like, these characters, the monologues don't make any sense. They're very long and they're very annoying. And especially Malcolm's speeches, they're just like, okay, we've been talking about this same damn thing for like 3 parts now. Like, what's going on here? All right, we get it. You're upset. You don't like the critic. Like, because that's a lot of his things are about. Like, if he wasn't digging at Marie, he was talking about critics and this white woman from the LA Times. That's like the biggest highlight of the whole night is this white woman from the LA Times. And like, oh, she gave him a bad review before, but now she likes his films, and they're comparing him to the likes of a Spike Lee or a John Singleton. And it's like, okay. And this brings me to the other biggest critique of the film. So Sam Levington is a white man, okay? White man. And from what I understand, his father is a very well-known filmmaker. Coolio. No problem with that. But you chose to make this movie starring, you know, to a black lead, a biracial lead, who's mixed of black and white. And we were talking about the black experience. He tried to talk about this was not a black film, but I'm like, sir, it is a black film because you're talking about blackness in the film. It is one thing if it was literally just about a couple being a couple and they were just arguing back and forth and just having an argument, because that can be universal to anyone. But you had this whole other B plot with this whole critic and being a black filmmaker thing, right? Because one of the biggest arguments Malcolm has is, like I said, this white woman from the LA Times compared him to just black filmmakers. And he's like, oh, why can't I be a white, like, compared to white filmmakers? Why is it always y'all immediately say that we are the next Spike Lee? Like, why can't it just be like Quentin Tarantino or some other white person that he said? I don't know who it was. I'm not too versed on white filmmakers. But the point is, he's saying, like, y'all always do that with black people, but you don't do that. Like, if there's a white dude and he made a film right now, no one's gonna sit there and say he's the next Spike Lee, right? They're gonna say he's the next whatever, you know, Steven Spielberg or something like that. So I get it. Also, it's like to movies, it almost feels like every time a black person makes a film, it's always viewed under the political lens. Like, it always has to feel like it has to have a message. It has to be something. And this is something that I have talked about on this channel before when I talk about my black film conversation, where a lot of black filmmakers make these movies that it always has to be about this big message, or it's about, you know, the trauma of black people, or trying to like tell a story about some forgotten person in black history. And while I do think that these movies have purpose, a lot of them end up being like trauma porn, like Queen and Slim, for instance. And like I said, this is a common trend with movies. They just try with black movies, like, and black people are not really allowed to make the art that they want to make. It always has to be something, even like a mundane, like a rom-com or something. People are going to try to make it about blackness in some way, like it speaks to all black people. And that's a decent conversation. Just not in this movie because a white man made this movie and it's just not your place. That's just what I think. I think you literally just, it's just not. Certain things are not for you. I don't think that I don't think that white men can't direct black movies because that's been done in the past. I mean, The Color Purple was directed by Steven Spielberg. The Ray Charles biopic was directed by a white man. Both of those movies were really good movies. I mean, with The Color Purple, it was built based off of Alice Walker's novel, so it's not like he made the source material as like this movie is, but you know, and a biopic, it's like, well, let me not say that because sometimes when the biopic is wrong, it's wrong, child. So also Ray Charles was involved, so that also kind of helps to keep the the authenticity. But you know what I mean, like. So I just feel like, and then like he tried to talk about, oh, like he tried to even bring Moonlight into it. Like, don't bring Barry into this now. Don't bring Barry into this. I'll be the first to admit, when I first watched Moonlight, I wasn't completely blown away. It's one of those slow burn type of films for me. Like, I had to watch it again and really sit with it and understand the story that it was trying to tell. And I got it. I got the brilliance of it. And I got why it got the Oscar. I understand. Took me a while to get it, but I got it. And then he did If Beale Street Can Talk. Amazing. Amazing movie. So it's like, why are we talking about Barry Jenkins? That ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm talking about, well, Barry Jenkins wasn't gay, but Moonlight was about a gay, protagonist. So why can't you make a thing about whatever? And it's just like, sir, you don't have the range. You just don't have the range. I think that what Sam Levington could have done was base this movie off of the conversation he had with his wife and really focus it on a relationship, not the film stuff. Like, that junk we could have done without it. I don't care. Like, I understand that it's kind of the source for Marie's anger, but at the end of the day, the movie would have still been fine without it because there was other things here. We can have a conversation about the breakdown of relationship with the power dynamic of a person who has this savior complex, right? And like this person who is clearly like taken advantage of. That's something that's real. That's something people can relate to. That's something that it feels like we could make two characters that can be invested in their relationship and what's going on. Like I said, this did not have this fire and ice, hot and cold dynamic that they wanted to have so badly. It just didn't. They didn't give enough room for that to happen because they were so focused on throwing jabs at each other, right? And I guess that's the point. But like I said, I wasn't invested. I was tired. Okay, this is a taxing movie. I don't know how you talking about they watching this movie again. I am never watching this movie again. Ever. Like, never. So sorry about it. I was sitting there like, this movie is still going? This movie is still going. Jesus Christ. Like, what else? I just feel like it dragged on forever. And it's like, there are certain movies I'm not going to watch again. Not because it's not good. It's just, I can't take the heartbreak. Like I said, When They See Us, amazing film. Necessary film. Even though I hate that adjective for movies. But it is necessary. But never going to watch it again. Too heartbreaking. Same thing with Fruitvale Station. Love that movie. Think it's really great. Great movie. Never gonna watch it again. But then there's some movies I'm not gonna watch again because it was bad. Okay? And this is one of them. I don't understand how you could watch. I was exhausted. If you're trying to make me feel like I just got out of an argument, well, congratulations. You excelled at that. But no. Also, something I forgot to mention. This is me in editing. I mean, y'all should already know by now if you watched enough of my videos that I am the colorism police. I am the dark-skinned women representation police. And as much as I think Zendaya is awesome and whatever, we've already seen the biracial woman and dark-skinned man thing over and over and over again. Like, I'm good on it. Like, if it was two biracial folks or whatever, that's one thing, but it's not. We've already seen a biracial woman and dark-skinned man countless times, more so on television than movies because romance movies haven't really been a thing. And when I think about romance movies where there's two dark-skinned people in recent years, it's If Beale Street Can Talk and The Photograph. That is it. Everything else, it's biracial woman, dark-skinned man. Like, even with Sylvia's Love recently, one of the reasons what like left a sore spot in my whatever, is the fact that it was hella colorist, like hella colorist. But once again, biracial woman, dark skinned black man. Like I said, there is an agenda. I don't know why, a vendetta against dark-skinned women in television and film to like completely erase us from our own stories, and it's truly annoying. And it's just, it's just tired. Let's try something else. So, in a nutshell, I can see, Zendaya wanting to make a film during quarantine. I like a movie, like I said, with no plot. I like a movie with just two characters. I think that Zendaya has proven that she can do something with, work with just one actor, because in the new Euphoria episodes, that's what she's been doing. And her episode with Ali, I forget the actor's real name, but in the show, great. It feels real. It feels like a real conversation I'm sitting in on. So it's not like Sam can't do it. It's just, it doesn't work in film. I think this movie could have been a short film, to be quite honest. I think that this did not need to be, or at the very least, the running time could have been like way shorter. So that's just my opinion. Like I said, we could have done this a bit differently. I definitely think that choices were made, and I don't really think they were the best choices. That's just what I think. And I think I can say that. I am entitled to my opinion and my critiques. I think there was potential, but it fell completely flat. And that's really tough. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. Like I said, if it was a black filmmaker, I'd probably even be a little bit more lenient on it. Because like I said, I'm all for black people making mediocre stuff. Sure. But it's not. It's a white man, so I'm gonna drag it. Sorry. And yeah, I think that, a lot of people are gonna hype it because of Zendaya, and cool. But like I said, your faves are entitled to make mediocre stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's not really a tell on Zendaya or John David Washington's capabilities as actors. I think it all just came down to writing, and the writing was just not there. So yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions about Malcom Marie. Let me know what you think about Malcom Marie down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll definitely see y'all in my next video. Peace out, y'all.